Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review, and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today, I have a science fiction book review for you. I'm going to be talking about Infinity Gate, the first book in the Pandominion duology. Pandominion duology by M.R. Carey. This is going to be a fully non-spoiler review. So, all I'm going to talk to you guys about is kind of the basic story, and then a little bit. I won't spoil any of the plot. I might mention character names, so if you really don't want to know anything, my suggestion is go and read this book. I actually ended up giving this book 5 stars, so I'll tell you that right up front. Absolutely love this book. So many elements of this book are things that I searched for and really loved. This book is a multiverse sci-fi book, so rather than the other worlds that we travel to being, alien worlds in other galaxies, this is actually about multiple different variations of Earth. And it's quite interesting that they mention in the book, they're like, most of the time Earth is referred to by whatever they call soil. My bookmark's still in it. I ended up finishing this book via audiobook. So the audiobook is absolutely fantastic. It's narrated by Dami Olukoyo. I think. I'm really sorry I don't have my notes up in front of me. And by notes, I mean the Audible app, which would tell me who the narrator is. But she is absolutely fantastic. She nails like a ton of different accents and voices, which always makes the characters extremely clear who's talking and who we're talking to, which I really loved. So let's go through and talk about what exactly this book is. So the Pandominion, I'm going to say that right one time. The Pandominion, are a trading alliance, essentially, of millions of identical Earths. Actually, not identical Earths, millions of Earths across the multiverse. And each Earth is very different. So while there are some that feel like they're kind of like a couple of steps to the left of where our Earth is, you then will get to some planets where actually the dominant life form on that planet evolved from rabbits rather than from apes, or from cats, or from dogs. And I believe there's like one character whose planet evolved from hedgehogs. So they have these kind of human-like personalities and characteristics, but they also then have the animal-like aspects. So one of the major characters in this book is called Paz, and she is evolved from a rabbit, and she has tall rabbit ears that give away some of her emotional cues, which is really fantastic, and she talks about that in her narration. So this is a narrated book, I guess, and in fact, there are a couple of points where the narrator refers to themselves as I, but they're narrating it kind of after the fact, almost like a historical piece or something, or like someone is being asked to tell the story to you. Kind of similar to how Hadrian narrates the Sunnyto books, but less explicit in terms of when the narration is happening and who is doing the narration. So yeah, talking about the Pandominion, so they are this kind of big empire, and as this kind of gigantic empire, they also have a military, and the military is designed to basically stop worlds who aren't or should not be discovering the ability to step between worlds, to stop the people who are making those discoveries, and if necessary, cleanse the entire Earth. They are there to protect the Pandominion, and they're there to enforce its laws and regulations and things like that. So basically, this book begins and opens on our Earth, or a version of our Earth where the climate crisis has progressed much, much further, and huge swaths of the world are uninhabitable, and basically a group of multi-billionaires have got together to build this mega research lab in Lagos in Nigeria. And the idea of it is that the campus cross, I believe it's called, is designed to try and kind of save the Earth, or if they can't save the Earth, help humanity leave it. And Hadiz Tumblewal is the lead character as the book begins, and she's a physicist, and she accidentally discovers the multiverse and the ability to travel between universes. So one of the things that I loved about this book is that it is, when it is set on a recognizable Earth, it's set in Africa, and I very, very rarely read sci-fi stories set outside of America or, you know, space, where it doesn't really, like, I think Earth is even gone in Sun Eater. Like, Sun Eater's not really anything to do with any geography in our world, whereas Hadiz's world is kind of a little bit to the left of ours, and obviously it's a few years into the future. So it's set in, most of it's set in Lagos. It's got all the human characters that we meet are often native to Lagos. Yeah, it's just great to see different people leading these books. So we start off following Hadiz, and she's the most important kind of lead character, and it feels like she's the protagonist of the book, but then slowly more and more characters are introduced, and it becomes a multi-POV book, essentially. Carey does this fantastic thing where he will swap between perspectives to show you different things happening concurrently, but sometimes that perspective is like a 6-line chapter, or it's like a 1-page chapter. I really, really like that. As you guys know, I love short chapters. This book has like 80 chapters or something mad. Let's find what's the last page. Yeah, it's literally 80. The last chapter has 80. The last chapter is number 80, and it's literally this. It's just those 2 pages, and that happens frequently throughout the book. So lovely short chapters. I really, really liked all of the characters, and I like that. So the next character that's introduced is called Essien, and he is a homeless sex worker who is kind of fleeing a terrible home life, who then is kind of basically enslaved, and then finally escapes that slavery into sex work, and then he meets Hadiz through the sex work, and then the sex work stuff, the meeting of Hadiz kind of puts him in the crosshairs of this Pandominion and their military. It's just absolutely fantastic. I know I've raved about this book. I've read about this book a lot on Discord, to my friends over there on Andrew Watson's Discord. If you want to interact with me outside of these videos, Andrew Watson's Discord is probably the one that I'm the most active on. Maybe one day we'll start one for the channel, but I feel like at the moment it's not really necessary. Anyway, because you can just drop into the comments. I have enough time to reply to all of your comments. So I've said it before, but like, absolutely, this is a massive recommendation from me. I will be seeking out the sequel to this ASAP. Unfortunately, it's just come out and it's only available in hardcover, and it's not available in my local library, which is a real shame. But I've absolutely loved reading this. It's just fantastic. And also, so there's a third protagonist as well that you get to meet later. So a third like major POV from a character called Paz, and she's the one that's from the rabbit world. I just love the way this book is written as well. So I love all the characters, and I like the prose style in terms of the short, sharp, snappy chapters, but also there's a ton of really good foreshadowing stuff. So I specifically remember there's one chapter that's that starts with where are we? This is probably it. Oh, it's not. I thought I could find it, but one of the chapters starts with, on the day of the firebombing, Paz did this, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I really like when authors are like, this horrible thing is going to happen, and then you're like just waiting for the book to take that turn, and it surprised me multiple times. I think the one big twist in the book I guessed pretty much straight away, and so it was less of a surprise, but I still liked how the characters reacted to it, and I'm desperate, like I said, to read book 2. So if you are the kind of person who is interested in kind of new and interesting perspectives, if you want to see a multiverse story that isn't like the superhero multiverse stories that we've been getting in movies, where it's like, oh, I can show you this, cameo from Tobey Maguire or whatever. This is actually like, and in this universe, the people are rabbits. In this universe, there's an AI war going on. Like, this whole book is very much the right way to do multiverse, where each multiverse is so new and so different and so interesting. And Carey has not just thought about like, oh, well, I think I want these people to be rabbit people. He's been like, okay, so rabbits are prey animals, which means that they would have this type of personality. They would have these different features in terms of their anatomy. Just fantastic. I think Carey is a really, really excellent writer. I'm going to obviously read the sequel to this, but I'm also going to be seeking out his other stuff. So I've seen the movie, The Girl with All the Gifts. I've read a few of his comics, but I feel like now I'm going to be really aggressively seeking out the stuff that he's written so that I can see more of his stuff. And I will definitely be watching future releases from Carey going forward. So, have I piqued your interest? Does this book sound like something that you would like to read? I had an absolutely fantastic time reading this, as you can probably tell. I would be shocked if this is not my book of the month for July, despite having read one other book that also was a 5-star that I really loved. This one feels like it's just hit that to the post in terms of the amount that I just want to gush about it. So, yeah, if I've piqued your interest, then let me know. And if you have read this book, then drop down below and drop in the comments and say what you thought of it. And of course, if you like this video, give it a like. If you'd like to see more content from me, especially on the sequel to this book, which I believe is called Echo of Worlds, which is out now, so I can read it, and I will try and read it soon. Yeah, let me know if you'd be interested in that, and also subscribe to see that review when it comes up. I don't think there's anything else that we need to run through apart from buy this book, read this book. It's fantastic. I'll speak to you tomorrow.